Hi and welcome to Whirlwind Wargaming. Here we take a look at the Spearhead magazine, issue number 3. This is the one that's got 5 Liberator models. Please like and subscribe, and I'll continue to do these videos as and when I receive them from Hatchet Partworks. We've got issue number 3. This one's come now as part of my subscription. It's priced at $9.99, but I've had this one for free. That is what you get when you subscribe. You get you pay for one issue and then you get one issue free as the initial, and then you have to pay full price then for everything after that. So 5 bases here, so that means we're going to have 5 of the Liberator models. These are spread across 3 half-size sprues. These are relatively recent sculpts. They look quite nice there. You could just about make out 2024 there in the top corner of the mould or the sprue. So yeah, very recent. You've got option to build these either with a hammer in each hand or a hammer and a shield. And I think there is one model that's got the great hammer. Yeah, you can see it just down here on the right hand side. It's a nice little sort of issue, this one. Value wise though, I think it's not brilliant, but it is going to be a lot cheaper than buying it from Games Workshop or Warhammer. Either dual wield hammers or single hammers and a shield. I don't think that's got any difference in gameplay. You can see the cover price here is $9.99. Just the 5 Liberator models in this set though, unfortunately. Normally when you buy a box you get 10 models, and that's £38 from Warhammer itself, or £34 from third-party stores. So cutting that in half then is about £19. You're saving about £10 against Warhammer prices. So we've got the standard sort of layout of these magazines, so the read, build, paint, play for this particular issue, with the colour coding down the side of the right-hand side of the page there. This will give you some background lore on the Stormcast Eternals then, where these Eternals sort of brought by the Lord King God Sigma to fight eternally, basically. As they're killed, they're brought back to life again, and they just go through that cycle of continually being brought back again as warriors to fight for Sigma. Quite an unfortunate existence, I suppose. A little bit in the Spearhead there. We've got a little image here. These are the models we're going to receive within this collection. So that is the Spearhead for this collection. We've already got about half of it now, so we've got a little bit more to come. Then we move on to the how to build. These Liberator models are, I believe, push fit again. I don't quite like the push fits. Sometimes the pegs don't push in all the way, so I tend to cut the peg off and sort of glue together then. There are a couple of options, and not much. You got to choose which head you want. You can either have a sort of masked head, or you can have a sort of more human head, and there's some little bits you can go on the ground, and then you can choose to build whether it's going to be with a hammer and shield or dual wielding hammers. You've got one model which can be built with a great axe, the great hammer, sorry, which is like a two-handed hammer. I think as far as gameplay is concerned, that's got slightly different damage or characteristics within the game, which we'll move on to a little bit later on. They're more or less fairly similar builds. Each one of the poses of each of the models is a little bit different. Starting to bring in an introduction of how to paint. They haven't given us any paints yet in this collection, so this is just really sort of setting the groundwork, sort of really telling you what sort of items you're going to need to start painting your models. Telling you about the brushes and things here. We're going to get some brushes as part of this collection. They're going to be included, and then it's the sort of painting guide here. It's going to tell you what stage of the painting guide you are, what paint you're going to use, what colour paint you're going to use, and where it goes, and it'll give you a little picture of where the model is at that point. So then we're moving on to unit weapons and the rend ability of each weapon. So the rend ability gives a weapon a sort of a better chance of hitting. So what it does is it reduces the save and throw that the opposition player has, or worsens it by whatever that rend value is. So if you've got a rend value of -1, it'll worsen the saving throw by 1. So if you ordinarily had to roll a 4, if you roll a 4 now, you're going to get 3, which isn't going to save. So you'd need to roll a 5 to get your 4, because you're minusing 1 from there. Your rend will take 1 off that. This is then runs through a little sort of scenario here, Warp Fury. Once I get the models built up, I'm hoping to do that now over the next day or so. I'm going to get some videos up on issue 2 and then this issue 3 as well. And the sort of introduction to the gameplay, which is basically the combat, the initial bits of combat, which is quite basic at the moment. And we'll sort of see them how that plays out and how that pans out. Here you've got a hypothetical sort of scenario showing you what dice have been rolled, which ones would hit, which ones have then caused damage, and puts those sort of damage points into your damage pool, which you then allocate against the models. And it gives you a little conclusion then of both parties. Again, we've got some more of these wound tokens on the very last page you can cut out. So there's another 16 of them there, 4 in each corner. And then we can look ahead on the very back page. It's got issue 4 here. We're going to get 2 paints and we're going to get that brush as well. So they're very likely it's going to be a painting guide in that issue. Thanks guys for looking. Thanks for staying with me to the end of this video. If you've got any questions or queries, please pop them in and I'll try and answer if I'm able to. Thanks for all your support.